All right, we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are listening from around the world. And we know it's like probably around 5 p.m. or 5:05 in Liberia right now. We just want to welcome you to Reteen Tech. This is our monthly podcast where we do talk about technology, how it affects our daily life and our work life. But today, we are excited on this episode to be talking about Liberia's digital future, driving national growth through inclusion. And we are very, very honored to have two incredible guests with us this evening or this afternoon or this morning who are helping to shape the technology landscape and digital empowerment in Liberia, West Africa, and beyond. So, firstly, we have our only female on the show tonight, our sister, the Masa Weeks. She's a powerhouse in the Liberian tech space, and she's doing a lot of advocacy and a lot of work within that space in terms of empowerment. She's wearing different hats. She'll talk about those hats that she's wearing herself, but she's wearing different hats, and she's really a powerhouse. And she's dedicated to women and girls empowerment and giving them access to digital tools that they can use. Her passion for innovation and inclusion is transforming lives, and we can't wait to hear her insights today. And joining us next is our brother, Fred P. Madden. He's a seasoned IT professional with deep commitment to community service. He will talk more about himself. He has so many caps also that he's wearing, but he will dive deep a little bit about that, in that. And he also served on the board member of South Africa for his using technology to uplift communities in Liberia and beyond. And he's helping to bridge the digital divide and between innovation and social impact. Both of our guests today are not just tech leaders, they are change makers, they're visionaries, and advocates for a more inclusive digital future. So let's dive into and explore how technology can truly drive national growth in Liberia. And with us also is my co-host, D. Mac Wilson. He'll talk a little bit about himself. And I'm Perceiver, or some people call me Yon Toze from way back. And I am a co-host with my brother D. Mac Wilson. We are both from Reading Tech Foundation. So welcome to our show. We're just going to give our guests some time to introduce themselves and give a little bit about themselves and what they do. We'll start with our sister here, Masa E. Weeks.
Thank you so much for inviting me once more on this platform. I really appreciate Rethink Tech. So, my name is, for introduction, my name is B. Masa Wicks. I do have a BSc degree in tech, IT, and a master degree in software engineering, both from Ghana and Nigeria, Valley View University precisely, and Obafemi Awolowo University, Nigeria. So currently, I'm the IT director at the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection. Also serving as the founder and CEO of Girls in Technology Liberia, empowering young women and girls to get digital skills.
Okay. All right. Thank you for that, sister. Brother Fred.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for having me here on Rethink Tech. My name is Fred P. Made, and I'm excited to be here today um, to discuss about the digital life landscape of Liberia. In my professional career, I'm specializing in IT. I have a bachelor's degree in information technology. Um, I'm also working as a data center technician with Microsoft. And over the past decades, I've worked diverse roles, including executive secretary for the Liberian Senate. I also serve as a combat engineer in the United States military, and I hold a lot of certifications when it comes to IT. I got CompTIA Security Plus, A Plus, Server Plus, and Network Plus. Outside of work, I work with communities and people help them to improve their lives and mentor people and find grateful fulfillment in a positive and impactful way to improve lives.
All right. Thank you so much, Fred. We do appreciate that. We'll just turn it over to D. Mac Wilson for a little bit of talk and introduction of himself, and then we will launch into our topic for today, our discussion.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I mean, today episode is different because we have a lot of personality over here. We got our lone female here who is fully loaded. And we also have our brother Fred, um, who happens to even serve at the Senate level. So, I mean, we're going to really um, somehow hold a feet to the fire today so that you can tell us more about how we are doing over there. My name is Mark Wilson. My brother over here usually have my D there, and the D is actually classified. Um, just so you know, I'm a member of the service as well, so that D is classified. It cannot be we cannot declassify that. All right. So yeah, I've been in the IT space for a while. My brother Pacific, myself from all the way Ghana. We've been, striving in this field. Um, I got my first degree in cyber defense and network security. I got my second degree in cybersecurity. So I currently work as cybersecurity analyst for a tech company over here in Minnesota. I am a member of Rethink Tech, a founding member. I was privileged to be a part of the team that launched our first conference in Nima County, precisely Sunny 2 years ago, which really went, well. It was really successful. Um, we came up with the idea of Rethink Tech because we kind of observe, not even study, because if we say study, it's really hard to study Liberia history. It becomes everything. So we observe the landscape of Liberia in the IT field. That Liberia was little behind. So we thought it wise to come up with something to be able to help our young people and our young country in terms of technology. So that's how we were able to brainstorm, and then we formed Rethink Tech. Rethink Tech, one of the areas we focusing on. Can you guys hear me? I'm hearing some.
Yeah, we hear you.
All right. One of the areas we are focusing on is building labs, because we understand that it's hard to just go to computer school and then you leave from there, you go home, you don't even have anything to do, right? There are a lot of computer students in Liberia who go to school on the blackboard, talk about hardware and software, go home at the end of the day, you don't even have anything, to lay your hands on. So we thought that we should come up with this idea where we can help to construct labs where after school you're still able to go and improve your skills. Not only that, we also thought that we can put our resources together where we can train teachers, and those teachers will be able to train students in ICT. So that's just a little foundation of Rethink Tech. We are non-governmental institution, NGO, which is putting our own resources together and helping, giving back to our beloved nation, Liberia. So it is a privilege to be here with sharing this platform with brilliant people like you. So thank you so much for being here. We're gonna just dive into our discussion here right away. So the way we're gonna go, we're gonna come up with some topics, and then those topics we ask questions, and then we brainstorm, and then we kind of find some ideas on how to be able to push on with those things. So at this point, I would just turn the platform over to Mr. Gondo so that he would just introduce those talking points.
All right, thank you so much, Brother D. Mac Wilson, our sister Masa, our brother Fred. Welcome again to our listeners. And this is the Reading Tech Monday podcast. And today we are looking at Liberia's digital future. It is quite important, and quite a very key topic. And with something to that said, driving national growth through inclusion. So we will just be looking around. The first topic for discussion will be first of all, people have to understand what is digital inclusion, right? Before we can talk about digital features. So we'll be looking at just picking you guys' brain as to letting our listeners know and understanding what digital inclusion is, or what do we mean when we say digital. When we talk about ICT, when we talk about IT, what are we talking about? So we'll start with Sister Martha to just give us some light on that, so our listeners can understand, what it is when we talk about digital feature.
So, thank you again. When we talk about digital inclusion, it's a very important topic, and most especially in the world in Liberia. So, digital inclusion has to do with all citizens, regardless of whether you are male or female, regardless of your gender, regardless of location, economic background. You need to have access to internet. You need to have access to digital devices. You need to have the skills to be able to use the technology effectively. It is very, very important for especially national development, as it enables better education, economic opportunities, and government service delivery. So that's digital inclusion. It has to do with internet, digital devices, the skills that you need to learn to be able to use the technology that is advancing today.
Okay. All right, Brother Fred, we will have a pick on that.
Yeah, like my sister just said, digital inclusion, especially let's see what digital means. I know if we go into computer, digital is something that has to do with ones and zeros.
Right on.
But how those ones and zeros convert to like maybe display on the screen for us to be able to see. So, for instance, we have a cell phone. I'm just gonna
Right.
go low because at least everyone knows a cell phone.
Right.
Uh, in Liberia, even in Liberia right now, like for instance, where my parents live, they gotta go and stand somewhere in order to be able to get like a signal to be able to talk to someone. So, uh, to include everyone in the digital world, we have to at least have the infrastructure built where those services can be reached, or everyone can reach those services and be able to apply in their lives, like my sister said, or Masa. So, and including everyone is like having it to reach like pretty much everywhere, at least 100% of the country.
Right.
In that way, everyone will be on par, even if you don't have like a normal broadband internet. If you have a cell phone and you can operate and you have the infrastructure, you'll be able to communicate with anyone in the world anywhere, and you can learn anything, even from using a cell phone.
Okay, Brother Mike, you want to throw some light on that, or
Yeah,
buttress anything to say?
yeah. I just want to buttress, those two brilliant people over here. So when we're talking about um, digital inclusion in our Liberian context, it's a really broad topic. If we talk about inclusion, it's a broad topic. Um, just to pick some points, right? We talk about inclusion. It has to do with, Brother Fred, he write it nearly. It has to do with infrastructure. We have to have the infrastructure. Without the infrastructure, it is very difficult to include people. And the next thing is to include people, right? Professionals like our sister over here, like Brother Fred, including them for what? Including them so that they can give the requisite skills that they have, right?
Yep.
We have the infrastructure, we have the people, we have the skills, and we also have, when we talk about people, we're just not talking about individual. We have the government being part of the inclusion. The government, we also have private citizen that you and myself, what we are doing right now, being part of, the parcel. having other NGOs all being part of the process. So we talk about digital inclusion. It's a broad topic. It has to have everybody hands on deck to make it work. Most especially in our country, Liberia, this cannot be left with individual entity. This cannot be left with our sister here and her organization alone. It has to be everybody. If we have to win in Liberia, everybody have to be part of it. Both government, the private sector, individual, everybody have to bring that expertise in order for it to work, most especially in Liberia.
All right, thank you guys so much. I do appreciate that. And just since you guys are already told the people, our listening audience, what digital, or what IT means, or what digital inclusion means, uh, we just want to piggyback on that, looking at the importance for national development. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, we're talking about Liberia's digital future, right? And how does digital inclusion drive national growth? Our sister did mention some about economic impact, and then I want you guys to just give the audience your take on the importance for national development in terms of economic growth, in terms of education and skill development, social empowerment, and our global competitiveness, right? How does digital inclusion makes us competitive on the global scene, in our educational system, in our economic growth, right? How in each of those areas, you can pick one of them, like how does digital inclusion help us? Like, for example, if we're going to include digital, have digital inclusion in our educational system, in our healthcare delivery system, in our social services, in our governance process, how does that help our national growth? Since Masa, you can take your take on that, on the importance of digital inclusion for
Yes,
national
so
development.
digital inclusion, especially in education.
Yeah,
Let's look at Ministry of Education. It promotes digital literacy through computers lab. We have to be able to get some computer labs for teacher to train the students. We have to be able to get some technologies that the students can be able to work with.
right,
So when it comes to digital inclusion, when especially for education, our government needs to be able to put more emphasis on ICT, especially on education aspect, because you notice that you can even sit at home and be able to learn
right,
online. Sometimes the teacher won't be able to go in class, right? But then the teacher will give assignment, say be able to send your assignment through this platform. But if you don't have the skills, you
yeah,
don't know how to be able to use the computer, you don't know how to use the digital tools that are around you, definitely you won't be able to participate in the educational process.
right,
So you take online exams, you apply for scholarships online, you do a lot of things online, and we even have the platform there that you got connected with me on LinkedIn.
yeah,
LinkedIn is a professional platforms where you have a lot of opportunities that are there that young people can be able to take advantage on. So
right,
you have scholarships, you have jobs opportunity, you can sit right here and be able to work out of Liberia. So definitely digital inclusion in education has to do with the learning of the digital skills, especially to use the technology to be able to get yourself there tomorrow.
all right. Thank you so much, brother Frank.
Yeah, as she said, I'm gonna talk a little bit on social inclusion when it comes to
Right.
digital.
Okay.
So it's very, very important. And thanks to those social media companies, at least there are a lot of them. Facebook, LinkedIn, there's a lot. They are providing those services so that we can use them wisely. Those services, if used wisely, like my sister said, you can learn anything. For instance, on YouTube, you can learn pretty much anything.
Yep.
The only thing you might not get like is maybe the paper, but
Yeah.
you will be well versed in whatsoever you learn. But we should be like really careful when we are using social media, because one thing we have to know is this: anything that you put online is going to be there forever. If
Right.
you know that, you will know how to use social media correctly. I tell anyone social media is good, but before maybe you put something, maybe consider re reading and understanding it well before putting it there, because yeah, it helps you a lot to be able to communicate. Even right now, that's what we are using, but make sure you use it well.
All right, brother Mike.
And
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Since my you want to chip in there?
yeah, and especially in the health, let's talk a little bit about the health sector,
Right.
digital inclusion. Our sector, we need to put more strength and build more infrastructure on our health structure, especially when it comes to ICT, because you find out that we don't have that strong health system where it can be able to diagnose your case.
Right.
You find out that people flying out of the country to be able to seek good medical attention, all because we don't have that infrastructure put in place. So
Right.
definitely the infrastructure, especially on health, have to
Yeah.
be looked at. Our government have to look at that. Let people be able to get the proper medication, proper treatment through tech.
Okay. Brother Mike.
Yeah. So I want to apologize because I just want to kind of flip this around a little bit.
Okay. Go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, you and I have been in and out of Liberia for a while. Our sister here, she been there. I mean, she got her feet on the ground in Liberia over there. So
Mhm.
I just, if I would ask, um, how is our ICT, footprint in Liberia? How, I mean, what is our grant if it comes to ICT in Liberia? I know you are the ICT director at the Ministry of Gender, and you have your own company going. Infrastructure wise, do we have the infrastructure? I know a few years ago, there's ice, right? There's Africa coast to Europe.
Yeah.
They launched this program where we have this submarine
Cable.
fiber
Yeah. The fiber
cable
optic cable. Yeah.
running in Liberia. And at some point it kind of slowed down. But I reading one article, it says sometimes last year, October or something, we're kind of trying to pick up again. It has been really, really tough in Liberia when it comes to the infrastructure. And one of the reasons they stopped, one of the reasons they slowed down their progression that time, because they are really working in other countries like Ghana. They are doing well in Ghana, in Nigeria, other places. But in Liberia, one of the reasons they slowed down, they said because of poor infrastructure, one. Two, because there were not enough skills. And then there was a series of things they put in place for which they kind of slowed down. Now, you being
Mhm.
over there, our dear sister, you being, in the IT space and seeing some other things.
Mhm.
How is it working for us there in Liberia? Because I just heard you talking about in terms of health, we are not doing so good in our health sector. The ICT space is not really penetrating there. I know there are other areas. So how is our ICT footprint in Liberia? Can you just elaborate a little bit?
Okay, so for the ICT footprint you're talking about, it's not strong here in Liberia. We actually need to improve on our ICT infrastructure. In many rural areas, you find out that internet connections are not reliable, electricity are not reliable. So for people to even be able to get access to the internet, it's not something easy. We just have two, or there are two GSM companies that are providing communication. So you have the telco, that are also providing internet. But then the people in the rural area, are they able to get these things? Also look at the cost, the high cost of the internet. Look at the people that are making low income families, especially women and girls have been marginalized. They are marginalized group. They lack the necessary skills to be able to use the digital tools. We don't have the strong infrastructure, ICT infrastructure being put into place here. Liberia is growing, is getting there, and we need support from others. But for the in the terms of ICT infrastructure, it's a poor one here for
Yep.
Liberia.
What come to the infrastructure? That will be our next talking point about just what we are in terms of infrastructure. So I just want to also add with respect to the importance for national development. And I was talking to somebody a few weeks ago, and I'm like, just imagine if we can digitize all our high schools. I don't know how many high schools. I mean, public, and I'm talking public schools, public high schools, public junior high schools and elementary school have in Liberia. I don't have a number. I've wrote the Ministry of Education like a couple of months ago. They yet to get back to me. They got an email address that I use, but they haven't responded to my email yet. Probably I don't know what happened to it, but I'm still waiting for that number because I'll reach into just trying to find out how many high schools, public high schools, elementary school, and junior high schools we have in Liberia because we are a much bigger project where we can digitize most of these institutions, right? But just imagine uh, the if we can digitize all of our public schools. You understand? We need teachers, we need technicians to service those devices, right? So at each public school, at each high school, you might have the three IT professional. That's three employment. So if, for example, you have the 15 public schools in each county, I'm just saying 15. It's more than that. If you have 15 public schools in each county, 15 times three, and time is around the entire 15
Hmm.
counties. That's a lot of people you've employed right there, supporting and taking care of their our family. So digital inclusion, right? It has a lot. It does a lot with national development, and the ease at which we do business, the ease at which, as you have all stated, at which we learn, and the number of resources. So instead of someone traveling from Nima County or Grand Gila to kind of Moro to buy goose, you can sit in Nima County or Grand Gila or Sano and go online and order your Dungafle Bay and order your zinc and other stuff. And guess what? It's all connected. You have someone else who have a shipping company that can ship that stuff from a river. That's employment
Yeah.
between there. So there's a lot that digital inclusion brings towards national development as a country. And I would just like, if public officials are listening, that people who can make these decisions, that we can prioritize, digitalization of our society at all levels in public schools, as you rightly mentioned about our healthcare system, that we can take advantage of these things. It's going to create a lot of jobs. It definitely creates a lot of jobs with the investment in there. There's a lot of jobs that come along with that, not just the IT job, but jobs in between with the entire supply chain when it comes to IT, right? Because people have to supply the computers that you're going to put in the schools. We need people that will design websites. We need people to design programs, and yet it's a lot that comes with that, and it helps with our national development and it helps with our national growth. So I just want to sit there to then launch us into our next talking point is what is lacking. I know we mentioned a bit about infrastructure, right? DMAC, Wilson mentioned something about infrastructure. What do we have in Liberia? What do we have? And I said talking about we have two GSM company, and internet penetration in Liberia is very, very slow. I mean, it's getting there, but in terms of why we haven't been able to fully implement digital inclusion or take advantage of that digital space. What is lacking? I know we the first thing we mentioned was infrastructure. We can highlight that a little bit. I know our sister also talked about affordability. I don't know if we can afford it if it's even there. I know the last time, a couple of months ago, we were talking about Starlink coming to Liberia, right? But how many Liberians can afford Starlink? I mean, at the end of the day, so
Yeah.
so and then you also mentioned about digital literacy, right? Because if you have those things that people are not literate, and our sister will elaborate a little bit more on that because she's working in that space and she's training and giving, empowering girls and women with that digital, literacy and that digital skill set that they need. So I just wanted to look at those three things a little bit more in detail: the infrastructure, the affordability, and digital literacy. So we'll start with sister again. To just let's go with that. We know that those are situations we are faced with, and how can we overcome that? How can we move beyond those three roadblock currently?
Yeah. So firstly, like I was saying, the infrastructure. Let's look at Girls in Tech Liberia, right?
Right.
We not just in Montserrado County.
Okay.
We have expanded our training center to women and girls across the rural area, especially
Oh,
Tottenham Borough, County.
okay.
Yeah. So one of the things that we use there to be able to, or the IT or the ICT infrastructure that we use there to be able to get the training up to these girls. We have computers, we have projectors, we have internet connectivity, and we are going with one of the service providers. So, but then the internet that is there, they are providing us is very, very slow. At
Hmm.
times, you don't even able to get what you want to do, your work you're able to do.
Yeah.
Sometimes to update the computers on the internet, it's difficult. You have to spend the entire day to just working on one computer. And
Wow.
you also have to, yes, at times you don't have the skill trainer in the rural areas. So we decided to get some of the skilled trainers, the girls that we train, that
Right.
the good ones, so they can be able to train, they call it trainee of trainees. So they
Right.
can be able to train these girls. So they are in town. We'll be able to connect them on the internet so they can train them online while we have
Right.
somebody there be able to guide them through the computer to navigate through the computers. But then the internet will trip. So, like, the internet is not
All right. I was just talking about the internet, and I think the
I think
the,
hers is
the
sleeping.
internet service got mad with us. But sorry. All right, brother Fred. What have your take on the obstacles we face with affordability,
Yes,
infrastructure, and just digital literacy as a whole?
yes. So, like my sister was saying, or Sister Masa, and I want to say a big thank you to Guessing Technology. I actually been following them a lot on LinkedIn,
Yeah.
but let us not only focus on like maybe computer or maybe the cables, the owner of water cable. What's about electricity? Because you can
Yes.
get all like your cell phone if you don't have electricity to be able to charge your phone, you will not be able to access whatsoever you need. So
Exactly right.
electricity in Liberia, thanks to the Liberian government, but I think we have to do more when it comes to electricity because without electricity, the internet will not work. So
Right.
we got to prioritize those. And according to World Bank, documentary is like 2020. They say Liberia has been working with developing our partners in digital skills, but there's a lot of hindrances when it comes to that. The skill and literacy number is very high. People don't have access to uh, current. How many people have current? Although we
Yeah.
get current in Liberia, but just only few can afford it. So we have to consider all those ones too. Also, infrastructure in terms of, like I said, electricity, the internet access, we don't have it everywhere. So we have to take those very seriously and make sure that uh, the government of Liberia is putting planning and putting in place those uh, infrastructure in order for us to be able to access when internet services when it comes to the digital future of Liberia.
Right on. All right, brother Mike. You want to take a your,
Yeah.
your take on that?
So like our brother Reggie said, right? Electricity is one of the things
It is.
we 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 need electricity. If you want to run a serious ICT program in Liberia, you're gonna need electricity.
Yeah.
Um, and I'm happy to also learning on the skills.
Yeah.
Um, if we can have, you know, good chunk of the Liberian population being, you know, skills in ICT, I think we're going to do well. But for some reason, it's like we have been not, you know, focusing our lenses on ICT for a while. I want to pick on the government a little bit.
That's okay.
You know, you know, when I think it was sometimes in January or somewhere when they talk about some, you know,
The 10,000.
10,000 ICT thing, I was so excited
Yeah, I watched myself.
because one of the reasons I was excited because I know that numbers matter in anything that you do. Numbers. The more people you have in certain capacity, the stronger that capacity is. So the more people we have in ICT, I know for sure we're going to have a really strong foundation. So when I heard that announcement, I was so excited about it. But then along the line, I kept following it, and I didn't even see the progress of that thing. So I think the government need to put more weight when it comes to ICT. Because whether you like it or not, we are in an era of technology. There is no way that we can progress from where we at without technology being the backing of everything. Trust me. If it comes to agriculture, there are other countries that are making serious progress through ICT. Even e-government can eradicate a whole lot of things. You know, we're talking about, you know, how the role of our government in the growth. The government, if you have e-government, if you're able to set up a better e-government where, you know, I heard made mention about, you know, where somebody is in a certain part of Liberia and you can translate in other part of Liberia. You can still, government entity can still run that way. I can be in Bapolu and I don't have to come to Monrovia to renew my passport.
Yeah.
It can be done right on the internet. E-government. I can be, you know, in another part of Liberia and have access to other government facility in other part of Liberia where I don't even have to drive to bring fuel and all of that. I'm saving money, I'm saving energy, I'm saving a lot. So e-government. E-commerce, we talk about e-commerce where, you know, somebody can sell a thing from one end to another. So I think if the government is able to focus on those areas and know the importance that, you know, we can make a better Liberia. And I don't want it to be just the government, right? Individuals will also do that. But I think individuals are trying. We need the effort of the government as well. To be frank, people that our sister over here who went to school, she went, you know, Ghana and Nigeria. She went to school and she decided to come back to Liberia to, you know, help and give back to the country. Those are people that need push. Rethink Tech. We've been around for going to 3 years now. We need push in these areas. What we're doing here is we're using our own resources to provide, you know, infrastructures. We're using our own resources to provide education to our people. So we need some kind of a push. So what I'm saying is that if the government can prioritize ICT, the government of Liberia, if they can prioritize ICT and push the importance of ICT out there. I'll give you a story, right? My mother is from Grand Jude. And I mean, the rural part of Grand Jude, like somewhere all the way in the village, right? So I'm kind of bringing this story because the mindset of the people has to, I mean, it plays a major role in this whole ICT development in Liberia. So my mother passed away a long time. And I just wrote a project and sent it to the clan chief in my mother's village that I want to construct this memorial institution in my mother's name. And I sent a plan, and there was a lab, ICT lab, huge lab, right?
Sorry, it's the same thing that we discussing here.
No
Sorry that I'm back. It's the same thing we're discussing here. The internet just cut off.
Yeah,
Thank you.
the people knew you were talking about our internet, so they just cut you off,
So
man.
frustrating. Just call off.
Yeah.
Ah,
So I wrote this
okay.
proposal.
Mm.
Yeah, just a minute. I want to end it, then I will get back to you. I wrote a
Yeah, yeah,
proposal
yeah, yeah.
where I want to build this memorial school with a state of the art ICT infrastructure in there, and I sent this thing for them to go through it. They went through it, and they came back telling me that they don't think that is possible. Why? Because number one, the place is all the way in the interior, and then what I'm talking about is too advanced. How? So my question was, why not? Why can't we? Who said that Liberia can have state of the art ICT lab that other people can go to study? Who told you that? So the minds of the people, there where the education part comes in. So we have to
Awareness.
educate the people, the awareness, and then we need people with more skills. And then we need the help of the government to at least prioritize that aspect, knowing that it might not be even be for today, but the future, the
Yeah,
young ones,
yeah, it's
the
not.
younger generation, we can just educate every one of them. Just give them that basic skills and let them grow in the space of ICT. I think the economy will do better.
All right.
Uh, but yeah, let's just turn over to our
All right,
sister.
sister, you want to finish? I think you are mute right now. You want to unmute and finish your thought? Yep, there you go.
Okay. You can hear me now, right?
Yeah, we do. We do. You just want to finish your
Yeah.
thought? I know
So,
you got to hang out
like,
with the internet. Yeah,
yeah, like I said, I apologize again for the internet
that's okay.
connectivity. So it's the same thing I was talking about lack of poor internet connection, and we also have this thing that is in Liberia, solar panel that a lot of people are using for
Okay.
electricity, but most people don't have the upper hand to be able to get the solar panel for them to be able to get connections. So that is also infrastructure, ICT infrastructure as well, technology.
Right.
Like my brother was already saying that many of these people or the women and girls, especially are focused on, they
Yeah.
need to get these necessary technology skills to be able to help themselves tomorrow. You don't have to be able to go looking for a job, but when you have the digital skills training where you can be able to market your own business, you have your own business, be able to market it on the social media
Right.
platforms. You be able to use the social media to get job and work online, and also obtain yourself more degrees or certificates. You be able to get these skills right using the phone or
Right.
your computer. So these people don't have these necessary skills to do these things. You find out that most of them in the rural area where Goshen Tech is right now, Bombing County, most of them they are depending on their parents. They are depending on men to support them. They don't have that knowledge. They don't have that kind of skills to be able to work, to do something. And we have organizations that go in the rural areas. They take people from Monroeville, hire them in the rural area, in the counties. So where you have the citizens of the counties there, they need to be empowered. But how can
Right.
you be empowered if you don't have the necessary skills to be able to work? So these are some of the biggest challenges we face in the digital assets, especially the gap in Liberia here today.
Okay. Thank you guys so much. I do appreciate that. So in terms of infrastructure, we behind infrastructure, of course, internet penetration is low affordability. That's where a lot of people cannot afford, and that's where organization like yours, Girls in
Mm,
Technology in Liberia, comes in, providing that basic
yes.
infrastructure for the girls and women to be able to learn ICT skills. They cannot afford it in private schools, so you got to, your NGO that help them with the fee, and
Yeah.
you just take it of them. They don't have to worry about that process, right? So we need more of those kind of
Mhm.
programs in Liberia, and that's where Rethink Tech also has been working. We doing our first lab project in Sanikole. Our devices are currently on the way. They should be there sometime the mid of March to finish that lab project. It's going to be for the community to use, and then once that lab is done, we'll be moving on to another other bigger projects at high school and junior high school level. So there's a lot in that space that need to be done. As all rightly said, the government need to prioritize and see the need for that. I always say that when the agricultural revolution came, we left behind. We didn't do mechanized farming. We still do sustainable farming. That's what we can feed ourselves
Mhm.
because we failed to invest money into mechanized farming. The technology is already there.
Yeah.
We're not reinventing the wheel. So all we need to do is people
Sure.
who are in leadership in the public, private sector
Mhm.
to redirect our focus and be intentional about these things. Like Brother Mark mentioned about the IT training that the government did announce a couple of months ago, right? Be intentional about it and find
Yeah.
local organizations that are actually involved in that process. Empower these local organizations like yours to be able to expand and do a lot more of those work for the people to see the actual benefit of that, right? So we already do have local examples, local success story, like your organization. I know that other
Yeah.
organization working in that space, providing ICT training for free to people in the community all around Liberia. But infrastructure
Mhm.
is missing, as you rightly said, with electricity. If you don't have electricity, everything shut down. So
No.
that is a key ingredient in everything we're talking. It's not going to happen when there's no electricity. So that's something that we can prioritize as a country, as the government can prioritize that to make sure that there's stable electricity, right? So we just want to again, we got probably 14 minutes left, or we can do a little bit over that. It's up to you guys. Uh, but if we're gonna stick to the time, then we got like probably 14 minutes left to go. So we just highlighted some success stories in Liberia, and if you look around the world and you look around West Africa and Africa, there are lots of success stories when it comes to digital inclusion, right? In
Mhm.
Kenya, in Nigeria, in Rwanda is a very great case study. Every time I do research, Rwanda comes up. You
Yep.
can do all your business registration and everything online Rwanda within like few minutes.
Mhm.
Like everything, you don't have to go to the office. That's very very great, and that's what businesses, that's what that's what they're using these days, right? So how a lot of those are success stories that we can point to and we can learn from, as a country and as a people. Since we're a little bit pressed for time, we will just move on to, if you want to share a little bit of opinion on other stories from around the world, you can do that. But I just want us to look at the future implication of digital initiatives or digital inclusion in Liberia. What in the next 5 to 10 years, assuming that Liberia, right, invest and take ICT seriously, where can we
Mhm.
be? Where do we want to see ourselves in the next 5 to 10 years as a country, as a people in the digital landscape?
So
ICT business.
for okay.
Yeah,
All
go on.
right. So, oh yeah, go on, sis, Masa. I'll talk later.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Yeah, so one of the key things I would love to see Liberia move forward in the next 5 to 10 years is the employment opportunity, employment rates for the young people in Liberia, and especially the widespread of digital literacy and education, and then employment too as well. In the various organizations, they should have a lot of women there, be able to work in their organization, make decisions there at that level, also work in the tech sectors. Yeah, Liberia should also have universal internet access where
Absolutely.
our internet access can be very strong. Everybody have access to internet. People won't be able to say, I don't have money to buy internet. people who come from low income won't be able to say they don't have money to be able to get the internet, but at least internet will be there for people to be able to access. At that time, people will learn how to use the internet. From 5 or 10 years time, people should learn how to use the internet, how to use the computer, where Girls in Tech is driving to, because our vision in 2030, by 2030, we want to train at least 10,000 women and girls. So in our time there, within that time frame, women and girls should be able to learn how to use the basics of computer, how to use Microsoft Office Suite, Word, PowerPoint, Excel, Access, learn how to use the internet, digital marketing, learn how to use the social media platforms to be able to boost their businesses and more. So with that time, and when the internet is being free and universal for everybody, then they can know how to be able to use the various platforms on the
Right.
internet.
All right, perfect. Let's get to what do we want to see in the next 5 to 10 years of our digital landscape in Liberia, of our Liberia digital future, like where we should be at, what should we be at, what should it look like, and what do we want it to look like?
Let me just speak quick on what Sis Masa are talking, especially when it comes to computer literacy.
Yeah.
I know people sometimes think that you have to be like good in mathematics in order to
Yeah.
do computer, or you gotta learn how to type in order to do
Mhm,
computer. It's not true.
Right
Okay,
mhm,
on.
it's not true. Let me just say that.
Dismiss that myth, right?
Yes, you don't have to know math. You don't. I don't know
mhm,
math. You don't have to be a typist in order to use computer. Just plain. And I always encourage people to learn computer because pretty much
mhm,
everyone I talk to, I always told them do computer, do computer because computer is the future. And I did a research on from I mean Ministry of Information, Culture
And
Affairs
tourism.
and Tourism.
Yeah.
They have signed like a contract with organizational institution called I know it's Sebastian or Sebastian, something like that,
Okay.
called Digital Fast Track. It's
Okay.
like a 5-year agreement to deliver advanced internet services to Liberia. And
Oh.
besides
Okay.
that, to deliver also a data center.
Oh, that's a
That's
big one.
a
That's a
data
big
mhm,
one.
center in Liberia. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to see especially Liberia have like a data center. But besides that, we have to create the awareness.
Yeah.
Like one of our our viewers saying, awareness is very, very important. If people are not aware, sometimes they carry like the wrong notion and they don't know
Right.
exactly what to do. Sometimes those services are being provided, for instance, this Masa, whom I've been following for a very long time. Uh,
mhm,
it, yeah, they they help teach girls computer in Liberia, but how many people know? So this is one of the ways we create awareness for people to know through social media, so that people know. And hopefully, if this works out in the next 5 to 10 years, Liberia have a data center, there will be a lot of job creation because there will be someone there always to be able to make sure the data center is up and moving, because that's what I do. I go from state to state in order to do deployment of data centers with Microsoft.
Okay. Very good.
Yes,
Uh,
so just to add up to
yeah.
that, within the same 5 to 10 years, at least government should be able to transition from paper-based to digital processes. So let's take for example, Ministry of Gender. We are trying to develop this automated inventory financial management system that can be able to track all financial workflow processes,
Right.
where at least people won't be able to do everything on paper, like if you start this request from this office, you don't know which office it got lost
It
in
got to.
between.
Yep.
Yes, so at least within that time, Liberia should be able to transition to that. Yeah, from the paper based to the automated state system or digital platforms. where people can
Right.
do everything online. At times, you don't have to come to work and be able to get things done. You just do it there online, wherever you are, and be
Yeah.
able to.
Right
Yeah,
on. That's for
for
working.
for instance, I mean, I don't know how, but like my work, I mean, pretty much entails like hybrid. It's hybrid, 50% work from office,
Oh,
and
yeah.
then the other 50% I'm in the field. So you can be pretty much anywhere, especially
Anywhere.
if we have data center in Liberia, which I actually been thinking of. That's going to create job and the digital like people, for instance, for Ministry of Health and all the administrators in Liberia, they'll be able to do pretty much everything just digitally. I mean, you don't have to even have that paper tray. Everything will be like monitor, like maybe get a blockchain where or paper trail and everything is being tracked and
Yes.
accountability and everything. So I
Yep.
mean, it's very
It
very
comes. It
important.
comes with a lot. Yep.
Very very important.
All right, brother Mike. Let's take it. Have a take on. Wait. What do we want to see live in the next 5 to 10 years? What should our digital future look like? Uh
Yeah. So first of all, um, uh, in the next 5 to 10 years, I expect our government to understand that the ICT has a huge contribution to the growth of our economy.
yeah, with us.
We have to understand that. We just talking about, I mean, since Master just mentioned about what they're trying to do at the gender ministry, that's e-government over there.
Mhm.
I mean, ICT has a huge role in every aspect of our lives. That's for sure. Whether you're a marketer, you're a power tapper, whether you're a co-seller, whoever you are, government worker, everybody, ICT has a room for you. So the
Mhm.
government, in between now and to our next 5 to 10 years, I expect our government to understand and begin to pull in some resources in that area. The news about Fergie, that's a pretty good news.
It is.
We have been signing a lot of different concessions and everything, but I mean, as these things materialize, we pray that they do. Let's pray that these things happen. The government have to understand. We have to change the mindset. We have to create a mindset to understand that ICT is important, and we are in the information technology revolution. And if we should push that crusade, Liberia will stand a very good chance. Another thing I want to see in the next 5 to 10 years is that every child, every institution, every household should be aware of ICT, should know
Mhm.
that this thing is important. Not just if you have a cell phone. A cell phone is not just to make call. It's not just a chat on Facebook. It's not just a post picture. Or you can
Mhm.
use the cell phone and sell your little parking order you got in the house.
Yeah.
Use that your cell phone and sell your grandma pepper on the table. Just post it out there. So it doesn't matter where you are. You can be in any county, but you post a grandma pepper, and somebody can be in Monrovia and get interested in that. You know, I see this important in every aspect of life. So, in the next 5 to 10 years, I expect that every child should have a hands-on if it comes to IT. Have a knowledge, know what ICT mean, know what is this. Get the foundation of ICT, like what girls in tech are doing right now, like what retail tech
Mhm.
is doing. Let us continue to push this campaign. This is a crusade that we are on. Let us push
Mhm.
it. It's going to be hard because look, there are people in Liberia whom you want to help. Like we think that, for instance, we offering, we are here. We dare to build labs for people, right? I want to build labs so that we can train people because having skills is very important. All of the data center and everything we talk about bringing, if we don't have the requisite skill personnel for that, we want to import people to do it. But let me tell
Yep.
you something. Liberia population is so small. When Liberia start to develop, when we start to grow, our population will get handle our development in our country. We'll have to bring in people.
Mhm.
It's with the kind of potential that we have. If everybody just we just lock our horns like, look, we want to develop our country today in this area, in that area. We don't have the population to curtail all of that. We'll have to bring in people. That's the truth. So what happens if out of our 5.2 million approximately, what happens if we have at least 3 million people that are very literate if it comes to ICT? We're gonna do well in that area. So in the next 5 to 10 years, I expect that every child have a hands on it, no matter where you are, whether you're in the interior, in Monrovia, you somewhere in the forest, you have a hands on if it comes to ICT. The government, it is, I mean, every time we come on this platform, we appeal to the government. Please look in that aspect, look in that space. We are in the ICT, information technology revolution. We
Yeah.
expect you to
Yeah.
help those that are already trying. You know, thank God for individuals who are, trying their best. I was just reading one of the comments and somebody said that, they have this institution where people go there for 3 months and people are putting in there. People are eager. People, you can see that like when they really want to learn.
Yeah.
Their eyes are opening. Their eyes are opening to ICT. But we
Yeah.
need push in these areas. We need push. And I'm so thankful to, those of you guys who are really thinking positively to give back to the nation, most especially in your expertise. That's the only way we can grow. I know I keep pushing about the government, but the government is not going to do everything. It requires everybody, collective effort. Everything that we learn out here, we can take it back, put it together. That's the only way we're going to grow in every aspect.
All right,
Yeah.
thank you so much. I was just going to recap, and then we'll come back around, and then we'll do our closing, our final statement. So this is Reteen Tech podcast. It's called Reteen Tech. It's a Monday podcast that comes on the first of every month of the year, and here we just dive into training issues for technology wise, and mostly we are focused on developing countries. That how can developing countries use technology or ICT as an engine of growth for the economy? There's a lot that ICT has to offer for any developing country and even the developed world that somewhere living today, right? So ICT can well a lot of growth in all of our institutions if we can intentionally adopt ICT at different levels of our institutions, of our public institutions, private institutions. There's a lot of jobs that are there to be created, and we need to make a concerted effort. We just want to appreciate the efforts of our girls in technology in Liberia, our sister Masa for what she's doing. She's expanding and she's doing a very, very wonderful job. One of the problem with digital inclusion is affordability. A lot of people cannot afford it, and then one of them is infrastructure wise. They don't have the PC to learn. Some people want to learn, but they don't have the computer to learn, right? So she's providing
Yeah.
that, and affordability. People can go there free of charge to learn what they want to learn. So it's a great help, and she's expanding, and that's why Rethink Tech also came on the scene to help in that space. As we said, we'll also be working alongside with public schools, right? High school, elementary school, and junior high school, helping them to set up a computer lab and staying with them and training teachers and making sure that they can train the upcoming students with that with ICT, right? And also looking at awareness in our community, hosting conferences, workshop, and seminars at different levels at different locations. We had our first ICT conference in Nimba County in 2020. Was that 2022? 2023. Yeah, 2022. We were there in March. And the kids were it was a high school and junior high school students. The kids were excited, they were eager. We had 100+ students. We requested for like 10 from each of the high schools. It was excited, it was exciting, it was powerful. They said we want to learn, but we don't have facility, we don't have where to learn from, right? So we decided, we're gonna put a lab here that the students can and learn and the teachers can learn. And then after that, we're going to move on to high schools and junior high school to help in that process. So the government can do a lot in that space and be more intentional about where we want to go. So we have to take care of the infrastructure. We got to look at affordability, and we got to look at our skill, base. Because as our brother Max said, if you have all this technology and you don't have the skill base, we cannot use the system, right? It's
Right.
just not possible. And we can learn from other countries that have
Yeah.
that have successfully implemented digital inclusion programs around the world and learn from them. What are the good things we can learn from them, and how can we improve on what we already have, right? But mainly the infrastructure has been a stomach block in our way and affordability. So we need to look into that, and that's why other NGOs that step in and work in that space. But they can't do all. It's a whole country of 5 million people
Mhm.
having a booking entry at a time. You can't be in all countries at the same time because it's logistics. You need finances to do all those things, right? So, but government has a far greater reach than just one or two NGOs around the place. So I'm just going to come back around the table again for our final thoughts for today on the show. We're going to 1 hour 4 minutes already, but you can talk as long as you want to talk. Is your final talk on our topic for today, which is digital include Liberia's digital inclusion or Liberia's
Yes.
digital feature. How do we drive national growth through digital inclusion? So I was just going to ask you for your parting statement and your last comment, and then we will draw the curtain on today's episode. All right, says Massa.
Uh, yeah. Thank you. So, digital inclusion is the key to Liberia's economic growth, social development, and the global competitiveness. So, by investing in infrastructures, expanding in digital literacy training, and fostering public private partnerships, like partnering with other people, we can
Yep,
be able to bridge the digital divide and create opportunities for all Liberians, especially women and marginalized groups. So, as the ICT Director of the Ministry of Gender, Children, and Social Protection, and the founder and CEO of Girls in Technology Liberia, I remain committed to driving digital transformation and empowering the next generation with the necessary skills needed to thrive in this digital economy. So together we can all build a more connected and inclusive Liberia for all. Thank you.
thank you so much, says Massa. All right, perfect.
Okay. First, I want to say thanks for inviting me to be on this podcast, Rethink Tech. I just want to maybe re-emphasize that it, number one, I want us to create the awareness, and we have already
Yeah,
started doing it. Because the more people are aware and know that you don't need to have to be a mathematician in order to do computer,
yeah,
or you don't have to be a typist, or we focus. Yes, seriously, most people every time you talk to them about going ICT actually means information and communication technology. So
that's what it is.
and anything that you can use to communicate with ICT, for instance, is kind of stuff, and you can learn from that. So I encourage you, if you are watching, uh, I want you to consider computer or ICT very seriously, because in this 21st century, pretty much everything is going online. Pretty much everything. Those days when we started using Microsoft and other things, you have to get a key or a software installed in your computer. Nowadays, it's not like that. Okay, most of them is strictly online. And where are
Mhm.
those information safe? For instance, your Facebook account that you are using, every time you log onto it and see your messages, and then you go to your WhatsApp or the social media, do you know where those information uh, are being saved? They are saved either in the data center, the one they call cloud.
Right
There's
on.
nothing really called cloud. Okay, uh,
It's a marketing
it,
term.
it, it's saved somewhere in maybe in close area. I mean, where all that information is. I want you to try to get yourself out of that bubble that you have to be this in order to. No, it's not. But again, I want to say thanks for inviting me. I hope I can come back next time so that we can talk more about technology. Thank you.
Thank you, referee. That's on
All
you,
right.
bro, Mike.
Yeah, thank you, everybody. Like I said, today's episode is different. I mean, having all of these great people, it is a pleasure. I hope to see you guys back. Would love to have you back on our next episode, because what we're trying to do here is to give back to our beloved nation, Liberia, Is to help our brothers and sisters back there. You know, is to help our government, um, because once we have more people into these fields, we believe that some of them will be self-employed. Everybody don't have to work in government to survive in Liberia. People will, use what they have and make money out of it for better living. Let us continue to push as we are doing. Let us continue to work together. In this space, there is not a competition, right? Like, okay, I'm the one who's supposed to do better. Now you're supposed to do better. You're supposed to do better. It's not about that. It's a normal game, right? The more people we have in this field, the more Liberia becomes, right? Everybody can do the same thing at the same time, right? I can be in Bapuru and be in Nimakante at the same time, right? We need people with different skills in these areas. Um,
Mhm.
Let us continue to support each other. Um, we also want to appeal to the government. Please, the future of Liberia lies on the shoulders of ICT. The future of Liberia lies on the shoulders of ICT. So please try to focus more in the ICT space, at least to have more skilled people in Liberia. If
Mhm.
that we believe that Liberia will be on the right path for the future of the younger generation. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm just going to recap and then we will be signing off for today. I just want to tell you guys, thank you so much. We do appreciate your presence on our podcast. And those who will be watching later on, just leave us your comment. I know a lot of people watch the show after it's said and done. I'll go back and check and see the view going up. But we just want to tell you, thank you if you're going to be watching after here, that consider digital inclusion, consider how you can help to empower, right, to remove some of the obstacles and the roadblock that stand in the way of digital inclusion in our dear beloved country, Liberia. It's a concerted effort. Everybody needs to come together to work together, both private, public partnership, to push it forward to make things to work and to continue supporting organizations like the one our sister have, uh, Girls in Technology in Liberia, that is helping to empower young women and young girls in our beloved country,
Right.
Liberia.
Mhm.
Well, we'll have a lot of partnership coming up. We can talk about some of those things in the background, how we can help in that space to just
Yeah.
expand to other places and things. There's a lot we can do in unity. There's strength. There's a lot we can do that when we are together. Instead of individually going on those things. I know Liberia, I've been reading that Liberia has an ICT policy, and when the current president came, it's Ellen Johnson just started that had a whole drawn out policy for Liberia where we want to be at in ICT in 2024, 2025. But there were some very key important things that I did capture from there. They talk about expanding ICT infrastructure. They talk about universal access that our sister did mention about. Talk about government connectivity. I don't know how much our government is connected right now. Some of them are online, but you can't really do much. It's like a static web page. You just view information. You can, information back and forth. They talk about cyber security. They talk about e-government services, and they talk about the educational and research network for Liberia. They talk about the human capacity building, right?
Mhm.
That's a digital literacy. How far we were there from that ICT policy? Are we ready doing that? Talk about inclusion. That's where everybody can have access to digital technology and everything else. And we talk about e-commerce, government businesses being done online, transaction like revenue collection and all the rest of the stuff, and where we can just sit somewhere and buy stuff online. That's e-commerce and help with transparency and then local content development. We have so much content. We need to train people to be able to showcase this content to the world and all the Liberians living outside of Liberia. But it's been a great show. Uh, Talking about Liberia's digital future and how we can arrive at that point in the next 5 to 10 years. We will be coming with again with another episode on the 1st of April. Stay tuned. We're going to let you know the flyer will come out as to what our next discussion point will be concerning Liberia. But we are just excited and just want to, in this manner, thank our sister Masa and brother Fred for joining us. We appreciate your presence and we do highly value your presence with us today. With that, we just want to tell our listener thank you And we have come to the end of today's episode, Retain Tech Talk. If any way you want to get in touch with us, you can find us on Facebook at Retain Tech, or just DM us on Facebook, and we will be able to respond to your questions and comments and concerns. All right,
Thank you
folks.
so much. I appreciate joining this, and I hope to join again to
All
share
right.
more success stories of girls in tech.
Absolutely.
Right.
We love
So
to
so
have you.
don't grab off. We're gonna go in the back, and then we have
I'll just put you in the back, right? Okay.
yeah.
But if we end this, one second, we'll move from the stage.